Hello friends. In this video I will be showing you how to navigate a dictionary. For this video I will be using the Oxford American Dictionary for Learners of English because that's the one I typically like to use. However, there are many English-to-English dictionaries available, especially for learners of English. So if English is not your first language, it is useful to use an English-to-English dictionary, but one that is made for learners of English, because usually the definitions are more simple to understand and the information that they give you is extra information to help you learn the language better. So most of the information and examples I show you in this video will be the same for any English learner's dictionary. However, some of them will have a little bit different extra information. So you might not find the exact same information in every dictionary, but the organization should be basically the same. Okay, so with that, let's look inside of the dictionary and see what we can find. Inside of this one, on the inside of the cover, it shows us the phonetic symbols for pronouncing vowels and consonants in English. Now, for a lot of you, this isn't going to make a lot of sense, or it's going to be hard to understand. So they show you the phonetic symbol, and then they show you an example word where the vowel or the consonant is pronounced, and then they show you how the symbols would look if you were pronouncing that word. So for example, E for this symbol as in C, and then they're showing you what that would look like if they were spelling it out phonetically. Like I said, this can be a little bit difficult to understand, so it might not be the most useful thing in the dictionary, but this is actually where electronic dictionaries are more helpful, and I'll show that in the next video. So if we keep turning the pages, it will show you the table of contents, what you can find in the dictionary, just the general front matter. And then it will usually show you how the dictionary entries are organized. So like I said, each dictionary is going to have some different information in it. It might have some different symbols. And so they're going to explain to you in the front of the dictionary what the symbols mean and how the dictionary entries are organized. So if you're looking at a dictionary entry and you're not sure what kind of an information it is, just go back to the front of the dictionary and usually they'll show you how the entry is organized. But I will show you some specific examples in this video, so I'm not going to go through all of their front pages here. They show you a list of illustrations, list of notes, collocations. Like I said, the extra material is going to be a little bit different from dictionary to dictionary, but the organization of the entries should be basically the same. So they're going to give you a lot of information about the kind of information that's in the dictionary. Now, here is a very useful page that you'll find in every dictionary, and that's the list of abbreviations, labels, and symbols that they're going to be using in the dictionary. Because like I said, the symbols and the abbreviations might be a little bit different for each dictionary, so it's helpful to bookmark a page like this or to put a little sticky note in it so you can go back to it after you're looking at the dictionary entry. If you see a symbol or an abbreviation you don't understand, then you'll want to go back to this page and it will tell you what that symbol or abbreviation means. So we can see here like the abbreviations for the different word types, the different noun types or verb types, some of the symbols that they use, like this little key here, or AWL, or this is for synonym, this is for antonym, AWL is for academic word list, IDM is for idiom, PHRV is for phrasal verb, like that. And then a couple of other ones here. And then some other labels that they use, like formal, informal, written, or figurative. And we'll come back here after we look at a few examples from the dictionary. So, being that we are looking at a book right now, a dictionary book, let's look up the word book, because book is a pretty simple word. So by looking up a simple word in the dictionary that you already know the definition of, this will help you to understand how the information is organized. So all of the information in a dictionary or the words are going to be organized alphabetically. So as long as you know your alphabet, you can find the words that you're looking for. In this one, they help you out by showing the alphabet across the top of the page, and then they highlight which letter that you're on right now. So if I'm looking for the word book, obviously I'm going to go to the letter B, and then the next letter is O. So I need to look for B-O, and I can see here I'm in the B-Os. And then the next letter after O is another O. So if we look more closely here, you see I'm in B-O-A, and O is after the letter A, so I have to keep going. I'm still in B-O-A. Now I'm in B-O-B. I have to keep going. B-O-D, B-O-D. So it's not on this page. Go to the next page. I'm looking for the word book. So if you look at the top of the page, up here and up here, oh, I'll move it over here. If you look at the top of the page, on the left side and on the right side, what this information is showing you is the first word on the left-hand page. See body odor, and they're showing you over on the right side the last word on the right page. So you can see boom, boom. This is helpful to know. So I'll zoom out and show. So we've got body odor here, which is the first word here, and we have boom over here, which is the last word on the second page. This is helpful to see because then if you know you're looking for a specific word, if alphabetically it's in between these two terms, then you know it should be on one of these two pages. So if I'm looking for book, B-O-O-K, here I see B-O-O-M. Now M comes after K, which means that book should be before boom, which means it's going to be somewhere above. So if I start down here and work my way up, oh, there it is right there. There's book. So I know I'm going to be in the right page. So let me zoom in here on the word book now that I found it. So as I'm looking at the definition for the word book, I'm going to see this number here, 1. If I see book 1, that means that there's going to be another entry for book. So if I look down here, I see there's book 2. So they have 2 different entries for book, and we'll see why in a minute. Now, what kind of information can I find in this entry? So this is the first entry for book. It shows me a key here. So what does that key symbol mean? Well, if I go back to that page with the abbreviations and labels, and I look down to the symbols, it says the key, looking over here, the key shows a word from the Oxford 3000. For more information, see references on page R2, which would be in the back of the book. Basically, the Oxford 3000 list is a list of 3,000 of the most common words in English, which means it's going to be one of the most common or most frequent words in English. And if you see a key next to it, then you want to focus on those words because you want to learn the most frequent words first when you're learning a language, because those are the ones you're going to hear or see most frequently. Okay, so book, I know that it's one of the most frequent words in English according to Oxford. Here I see the phonetic spelling of the word. This is telling me how to pronounce it. And again, if you don't understand the symbols, this isn't much help. But if you do understand the symbols, then this will tell you how to pronounce the word without listening to it. And then after that, it tells me what word type it is. So book is a noun. Now, if I look down in the entry, you'll see that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different meanings or definitions for book. Now, what are these 5 meanings or definitions? In this dictionary, what they've done is next to each meaning, they give you a topic. So the first topic is, for the first definition, is printed work. The second topic is writing in. The third topic is of stamps, tickets, matches, etc. The fourth one is section of the Bible. or another book. And the fifth one is accounts. So these are the different situations where you might hear or see the word book, which changes the meaning a little bit in each situation. So if you see the word book in something you're reading and they're using it different than you expect, then think about the situation, right? So like, let's say we're talking about, I'm buying stamps at the store and they say book of stamps. Well, here's the topic of stamps. And so it says a small number of things fastened together in the form of a book, right? Or a book of matches, like that. So this is helpful if you think about the topic or the context of where you're hearing or seeing the word. It can quickly get you to the right definition for the word. So the first one is the one we're most used to, printed work. So a book. I'm looking at a book right now. So this is the first definition. That's what the number one here is. The C. What does that C mean? Well, if I go back to the abbreviations, it says that C is for a countable noun, because book here is a noun. So it's a noun that you can count. I lost my page, so I'm going to have to find it again. There we go. So this first meaning of the word book, I know it's countable, which means I can say one book or two books or three books or four books, like that. If you see here, again, they're giving you the context of where this word is used in English language arts. A number of sheets of paper fastened together inside a cover with words printed on them for people to read. That is the definition of this word for a printed work when we're talking about a book. Now after that, you see there's like this little diamond symbol, and then they have, she's writing a book about her childhood experiences, and then another one, and it says, do you have any books by Toni Morrison? And you'll see a couple more of those. Now if you look at the letters here and the letters here, you'll see that these letters look different. They're italicized or in italics. You see how they're kind of slanted? That's because this part here is the definition or the meaning of the word, and this part is an example sentence. It's an example sentence where they're using our word in a sentence, which is helpful to see the example sentences, because if it's a word you don't hear or see very much, if it's a new word to you, then you can see how it's used in a sentence. Or in this case, they show us 1, 2, 3 sentences, and then a few phrases, like to publish a book, a library book, a cookbook. This book is also available on CD-ROM, a book report. So they're showing us some situations or phrases where we might hear or see the word book. Now, if we go to the second definition, we see the same organization. C for countable. The situation or context is English language arts. They give us the definition, and they give us a couple of example phrases. Now here we see this new one. It says, look at notebook. So this little symbol here, if we look back to our abbreviations, right there it says, shows a cross-reference to another related entry in the dictionary, which means that if you want to find out more or related information about this use of the word book, then you can go to the dictionary entry for notebook under N. I'm not going to do that right now, just for the sake of time. All right, so we can see that each of these entries is organized basically the same way. Down here for the fifth one, accounts, books, we see this is the plural form of the word, books. So in this situation, we use it in the plural form. And then if we look down here, it says IDM. IDM means an idiom, and we can see that if we look at the page with the symbols and abbreviations. So the idiom is by the book. Now, if you're not familiar with an idiom is a phrase that it's hard to know what it means by translating it word by word. It has some kind of a special meaning in the language or a special meaning in the culture. So an American, if they say by the book, what does this phrase by the book mean? It means exactly according to the rules. He always does things by the book. So if you only looked at those words by the book, you probably couldn't guess at what that means. And so they're giving you the idiom, because idioms are frequently used phrases that it's hard to translate. So we've looked at all of the entries for the first entry of book. Now we go down here to book 2, and let's see why did they separate this one and this one. Well, if we look here, okay, it's got the key, that's the same. It's got the pronunciation, that's the same. But it says it's a verb. So the first entry is looking at book as a noun, and the second one is looking at book as a verb. Now, because it's a verb, a couple of the symbols are going to be different. So here we have I and T. Now, if I go back to my abbreviations list, I see that I means that is intransitive verb, a verb that is used without an object, and T is for a transitive verb, a verb that needs an object. So if I look at the verb definition or the verb use of book, it can either have an object or not have an object. Now, if I look down the list, I can see they have 1, 2, 3 different meanings for book. And again, if I look at number 1 here, it gives me the meaning: to arrange, to have, or do something at a particular time. So they give me the definition, they give me an example sentence. It's wise to book well in advance. Or, have you booked a table, sir? I'm sorry, but the doctor is fully booked on Friday. Can you come in on Monday? So they give us like 4 example sentences. And then we see this symbol here, syn, which means a synonym. And a synonym is a word that has a similar meaning. So they're saying that book, when it's used as a verb, a synonym for that is the word reserve, because they're using that with the same meaning as reserve. Like, you book a table or you reserve a table. Same meaning. If we look at the second definition, we see it's transitive, which means it has to have an object, and same with the third definition. And again, they give us the meaning and example sentences. So let's look at one more example. Let's look at the word read, because we read books, right? So again, alphabetical order, I want the R's. So R-E-A-D is what I'm looking for. So the last word on this page is reactive, R-E-A-C. So D comes after C, which means that my word is going to be probably on the next page. And there it is, read. Now, if you look here for read, you see there's not a number right after it, which means they've only got this one entry for read. So what kind of information do they have? Again, there's the key, which means it's on the most frequent words list for Oxford. There's the pronunciation. There's the word type, verb. Then it says PT or PP. What is PT or PP? If I want to know, then I want to just go back to that page with the abbreviations and labels. And I can see here, PT means past tense, PP means past participle. So they're showing me the other forms of this verb. Because like you know, when you use a verb in a sentence, the form of the verb can change. So they're saying the past tense and the past participle is spelled the same way, read, read. But if you look at the pronunciation, this one is pronounced read, this one is pronounced read. So they're just showing us the difference in the pronunciation for the past tense or the past participle. If we look at the first definition, again, we see the INT. So it's intransitive and transitive. It can either have no object or it can have an object. We have the definition. To look at words and understand them, we have an example sentence. In their first years in school, children learn to read and write. We have a few more example sentences. We have our second meaning of the word. Now, if we look here, it says intransitive or transitive. And then we see these little things in parentheses. So SB if we look at our list of abbreviations, it means somebody. STH means something. So read somebody or read something, or read something to somebody, which means to say written words to someone. For example, my father used to read me stories when I was little. So read me stories. So they're showing you the order of the words in a sentence, how they would be organized. And then they give you the example sentences. Now, if we keep looking past the definitions, again, we see, here's another idiom, read between the lines. And then they explain what that means. And then the PHRV, do you remember what that means? So the PHRV is phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a verb that has more than one word. So it reads something into something, right? That's kind of weird. What does that mean? To think that there is meaning in something that it may not really have. For example, don't read too much into the letter. So read too much into the letter, something into something like that. Or read something out, they give us another phrasal verb. So we have a couple different phrasal verbs there. And then we'll look at one more. What we're doing right now is we are looking at dictionary definitions. We are analyzing the dictionary. Analyzing. So let's look up analyze. What does analyze mean? So analyze starts with an A. So we're in the A's. A-N. If I look at the top of the right-hand page, I see A-M. N comes after M, so it's going to be on the next page. So I want to look for analyze. So I scan down the lists, and I get analysis and analyze. There's my word. So this one, analyze. Oh, one thing I forgot to point out. You'll see that these words are broken into parts, and they'll have dots in between the parts. This is showing you how the word is divided into syllables. So you see there's 1, 2, 3 groups of letters, which means there's 3 syllables. Analyze. So when we pronounce it, it has 3 syllables. Again, we see the key, which means it's on Oxford's 3,000 most frequent words list. Here we see AWL, Academic Word List. So the Academic Word List is a list of 570 of the most common word families in academic reading and writing. So these are another list of useful words to know, especially if you are in or planning to go to college. So this tells us it's on the academic word list. It's one of the most frequent words. We have the pronunciation here. And then we see that it's a verb. That's the word type. And it's a verb that takes an object. It's transitive. So we have our definition. We have our example sentences or example phrases. And then we see the symbol again with the arrow. And it says, look at the note on examine. So let's do that now so we can see why they're telling us to go look at examine. So I'm going to flip quickly to examine, which is going to be under the E's. Here's exam and examine. So why are they telling me to come to examine? Well, they have this whole section here on examine, and it says thesaurus. So this is one of the bonuses in this dictionary, is it shows you some thesaurus or language entries. A thesaurus is like a dictionary, but it shows you synonyms and antonyms, not the definitions. So here, for the word examine, they're showing you synonyms for examine. Consider, analyze, review, study, discuss. So we see the word analyze there. That's why they told us to come to examine, because examine is a synonym for analyze. And then they give us a lot of information about examining or analyzing in here. So depending on the dictionary you're using, like I said, the organization is going to be basically the same. You'll have your word. The words are going to be organized alphabetically. It will tell you the word type. It will tell you, like here, noun. It will tell you the pronunciation. It will tell you the definition of the word. If there's more than one definition, they'll separate those. And it will give you example sentences. Beyond that, different dictionaries might have some different information. Like I said, in this one, because it's for learners of English, they've got some different learning tools like collocations or thesaurus or word building things. Or you might have seen it earlier when I was flipping through. They've got pictures to go along with some stuff. There was a good one here for animals. When you look up the word animals, they actually have a full 2 pages of common animals with their pictures and the words. So whatever dictionary you have, like I said, the basic things will be the same. The extra things will be a little bit different. And because this is for learners of English, they include a lot of extra things in here. Synonyms, antonyms, collocations, pictures, some charts and graphs, and other things. And you'll find these things as you dig through the dictionary. And again, if you find something you don't understand, then usually you can flip to the front of your dictionary and it will tell you what symbols and abbreviations mean, or how the different entries are organized. All right, so I'm going to stop there for this video. I hope it was helpful for you if you haven't used a dictionary before, or if you're just not comfortable with the dictionary. And so hopefully you'll find a dictionary that you like and you'll use it so much that you start to wear out the pages. Thanks for watching.